My brothers and my sisters, we are finishing the 27th Sunday in Ordinary Time and rolling through October. And oftentimes the prayers at Mass, we hear them, we know them, but we kind of roll through them. So I'd like to go back to the opening prayer because it's going to tie us to the Scripture. So the priest at Mass prayed this: "Pour out your mercy upon us, to pardon what conscience dreads, and to give what prayer does not dare to ask." What does that mean? What is it that in prayer we dare not ask? Well, my brothers and my sisters, I think in many cases we don't want to know what God knows, because to know what God knows may put the designs that I have on my life and what I do in contrast with what God wills and what God designs, really with what God chooses outcomes in the big picture to be about. So let's go to the reading from the prophet Isaiah. There you have a vine grower building a vineyard into a hillside, and he's quite capable. He's measured. He's been able to put together the best of infrastructures. He's done all of the homework to ensure that there should be a bounty and that the grapes should be vintage. And in the end, what happens? No pun intended, sour grapes. And why? Well, my brothers and my sisters, while very talented, while working his skills, while focusing on building what it is God has given him the abilities and the tools to build in terms of a very good vineyard and that infrastructure, he wasn't concerned about that. He wanted a specific outcome. And in wanting that outcome, he was actually determining what God alone should be determining. And when we are doing what God alone can do, guess what happens? Sour grapes. I need to look at my life, and you need to look at your lives. Am I utilizing the gifts God has given me? Am I being a responsible steward for what ultimately belongs to God? And if I'm really free, maybe my freedom needs to be praying to understand God's will, to put who I am in service to God's will, to cultivate and to act upon what God desires, and to not put my personal desired outcomes as the focus of everything, or your personal desired outcomes as the focus of everything. But rather, it's about God. It's about God in your life, in your family's life, your children's life, work, school, play. It's about being in touch with what God designs and God desires. My brothers and my sisters, if we focus on that, if we do that work and let God determine the outcomes of things, guess what? We'll have that vintage. There'll be no sour grapes. Have a good week.